Welcome to a brew day. Today, I'm doing something crazy. It gives me stress, and I usually don't stress that much about brewing. But this one's stressful. I'm doing a hodgepodge brew day with whatever's on hand. Not only is it a hodgepodge, I'm not entering in any numbers. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this. I'm going to try and do this all from past memories on making beer. My memory is terrible usually, so I was trying to think about this for the last 2 days without entering any numbers into the program, what I might yield. What I came up with was a pale ale. So 1 gallon batch. I'm done with just a straight up 1 gallon in a while. I think I have about 2 pounds of 2-row left. That will be my grist. Then I have some hops in the freezer that I have for a while. Brew 1 and Cool Melon. And I'm using a hop shot as well. It's Cascade hop shot. The last time I used this hop shot, I think it was a 2 gallon batch, and I think it was 2 milliliters. I'm going to IBU about 50. So I'm using 1 milliliter and boil for about 45 minutes. Maybe that should give me around 30 IBUs. And then I'm going to steep for about 20-30 minutes. I haven't decided yet. With about targeting another 30 IBUs. So I'm going for about 50-60 IBUs total in this. I will be dry hopping too. Probably about 0.75 ounces. That's usually about my range per gallon. Maybe upwards of an ounce per gallon, but I haven't found that needed quite as much. My target gravity is going to be about 1060, 1050, somewhere in that range, OG. The simple math on the how much water to add is just based off the pounds per grain, 1.25 quarts per pound of grain of water. Usually that's the low end of the target, high end is 2.4. I'm going for 2. This, in past experiences, if I remember, I have to get my mash water to like 157 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range. I'm going to guess and go for that. And hopefully hit around 150 degrees Fahrenheit my mash. Also, I'm going to add some salts to this, gypsum and calcium chloride. I'm guessing enough to be about 60-70 sulfate and maybe 30 chloride. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to enter it in afterward. I am going to use distilled water though, so I'm actually going to undercut the salts a tiny bit, and I can control it. You know, I'm not going to put too much. I will be adding some lactic acid to the water as well, to the mash water. Usually about 1.3 milliliters gets me, for a 2 gallon batch, gets me down to about 5.3 on my pH. I'm going to add like 0.75, 0.7 milliliters, somewhere in that range. And then I will take a pH reading just to see where I'm at, and I will adjust it as needed. And it's been a while, but I am using a sous vide. It's back there somewhere, and I used it one time on my 1 gallon mash. It's hard to use my 2 gallon mash because I don't have a way to really keep it suspended with using this mesh steel thing I like to use. This here, so the grains don't get up into the sous vide, but it holds the mash wonderfully. So if I'm too high on my mash, I'll just let it sit out for about a half hour and then let it cool down naturally. Hopefully I hit it spot on. Hopefully I hit about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. If I'm within a couple degrees of either direction of that, I'm okay. So let's do this thing. That's all I got left of my grain. Let's see what we got. See if I can get 2 out of it. Alright, moment of truth. See if I got it. I'm a little low. Maybe I think I had to get it closer to 160, 162 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm at 146.5. Not that bad. It really isn't. What I'm going to do to compensate for that is I'm going to heat the sous vide, or set the temp on the sous vide to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And over the course of an hour, it should raise it up and hold it there. So I can't compensate. But I was close. I was within 4 degrees of what I wanted. Not bad with no programming. I must have been doing a larger batch the first time I did this for a 1 gallon, or my 3 gallon mash tun. The sous vide is not deep enough to get to the minimum height for it to work. So I have to tilt this. Hopefully this does it. Got it working. All right, got the pH meter. This is the one I definitely am unsure of. I put about 0.75 milliliters of lactic acid into it. It's jumping between 5.5 and 5.6. Looks like it's staying at 5.6. A little more. It's really weird. I added like 1.3 milliliters of lactic acid into this 1 gallon batch. I did the exact same thing on my 2 gallon batch last week, and I got the same pH. Actually, the pH last week was 5.3. Really weird. I did just calibrate the pH meter just in case, so it's calibrated. I don't know. How bizarre is that though? So as you can see, 4 quarts of water at 157 should get me 250 degrees Fahrenheit temp. So it's interesting. I thought about it afterward, and I realized usually when I mash into my smaller mashes, I go about 4 degrees higher, and that usually goes back down to my correct temp. So I should have, if I'm targeting 157, 158 Fahrenheit mash in temp, I should have gone to like 161, 162. It's okay. It's all coming back to me now. The last time I did this, I had a bigger mash, so I didn't need to actually. I kept it right at 150 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever my target was, like 152. This time, actually, I had to raise it up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and at 160 degrees Fahrenheit, it's holding at like 147. So for the last 15-20 minutes of the mash, I might try and bump it up to like 170, and at least get it up to 160-ish, and do somewhat of a mash out, sort of. But the sous vide can potentially allow that to be an option, which is rad. All right, let's go back to it. I did see when I put my numbers in about how much sparge water to add, but I decided at the beginning anyway to do a fly sparge. So I'm going to do a cold fly sparge, which I've done in the past a few times with inconsistent results. I just got some distilled water, run it over a spoon slowly. In the past, I've gotten somewhere around the mid-60s efficiency. One or two times I think I got in the 70s. Apparently, like if you do like 85% of your water, your mash water in, you can do the rest of it with cold sparge or cold fly sparge, and apparently it's barely a drop in efficiency for most people who do it. So I'm doing it again. Moment of truth. 1036. That's pretty much exactly where I want to be for a 1050-ish beer. I usually get about 20 gravity points higher after the boil, so I should end around 1055 or so. Okay, I decided to go with 0.23 ounces each of Brew 1 and Whole Melon. The Brew 1 is at 15.7% alpha, and the Whole Melon is at 6% alpha acids. 1052. Loving it. Now I'm going to chill it down and finish the rest of the brew day. Quite successful considering a hodgepodge and got some weird readings. Let's go discuss this out back by the table, plug in the numbers, and see what the final readings were and what I got out of it. See over there. Plugged in all the numbers, and the result is a pale ale. Well, now it's an IPA. 77 IBUs. The hop shot I messed up on. Right after I put it in, I went back to put it in the freezer, and I looked, and I think I put 2 milliliters, and I was intending to do 1. So that kind of messes things up a little bit, because I only have a 45-minute boil. I don't know, I think it puts me around 50, 42 IBUs. I really wanted more 30 or 20 out of that. So that was a mistake I made. But the Brew 1 and the Whole Melon, they combined have 30 IBUs. That's almost exactly what I was thinking with that. I did try a sample of the worts, and it didn't taste too bitter, which is good because in the past, when I've done like crazy big hopped IPAs, it's like, it hits me in the face even then. Aside from my mash being a little off, which was annoying, and then my lactic acid addition, I put way more than I usually do. I think it did pretty good. Let's see, before I end off here, what my salt additions were. So according to Brew and Water, my calcium is at 55, sulfate 74, chloride 42. The weird thing is here is I did 1 milliliter of lactic acid. I actually did more than that. I did like 1.3, and it said that my pH would have been like under 4. Let's see. Under 5, I mean. So it would have been 4.87. That's the weirdest thing on this. I usually hit my lactic acid addition pretty spot on, but I don't know. I don't know what happened there. So all good. Considering I had no numbers plugged in and I just flew by the seat in my pants, I'm happy with the results. And had I not put too much hop shot in there, I think it would have been about exactly what I was aiming for. So get out there, guys, and keep getting weird. See you next time.